So Housing First is supporting clients that are long-term homeless and have large needs, whether it's addiction or mental health problems or relationships breakdown. So Housing First believes that it is much better for a client to be housed first in their own home rather than go through kind of old model of dealing with homelessness where clients would be referred to hostels, which sometimes can be housing 30, 40, 50 individuals. Another approach that we are developing at the moment is shared living project. So the basics of that project is that we would lease and rent out a house, and they would be able to have their private quarters, their room, and they would share other facilities such as living room, kitchen, garden. It's again, in our experience, a better approach than supporting people in hostels. So the third program that I'm working on is isolation care units. That's where HSC and Midwest Simon community have 10 prefabricated tiny houses, I call it. So clients that might be COVID positive or are COVID positive would come to self-isolate, and Midwest Simon would provide practical and emotional support during their stay in isolation. None of these services would be possible without the support from the general public and their donations. I would like to thank everyone who supported and donated their time or money to Midwest Simon community, because there's so many people who really depend on our support.
So because all the services closed, and we were kind of told at the time everyone had to stay home, and you need to stay home, but that was very hard for people to hear, especially some of our clients that they didn't actually have a home, so it's not actually possible for them to stay at home and be safe and happy at home, during a lockdown situation like that, and it put increased pressures on people, especially those who were couch surfing, because then they had to try and get alternative accommodation because they weren't meant to be staying in the properties at the time as well. So it's put a lot of pressure on the homeless action team in Limerick, and put a lot of pressures on different services as well to try and adapt to that as best we can to manage that, and to try and see what we can actually do to help in those kind of situations. So I suppose a lot of the issues that we would have had back, especially during the lockdown, and continues to be, is the fact that a lot of the services are still only operating either through FaceTime or through phone calls and stuff like that, and it's very difficult for people who would have had a real reliance on mental health services and addiction services, so to have that interaction the whole time, so it's meant in a lot of cases from that one there where we've kind of had to become their support network as part of that as well. We've had our food bank here this morning, and again, it shows the need for such services from that one there, because the food poverty level has risen dramatically during the lockdown period as well, with people losing their jobs, being out of work, being at home all the time, and being having the need for access to food. So for all our services that we provide with Midwest Simon, for them, the main things we would need is the actual provision of funding and the support from our local communities. It's been really a great privilege over the last couple of months for the level of support that we have received from people, from people donating, from people who are actually helping us out, who are doing different, volunteering roles and helping out to manage our situation here and to try and provide the services the best we can to the Limerick, Clare and North Tipperary. So if people could, look at helping us again this Christmas, all our fundraising opportunities, unfortunately, we would normally have throughout the year have had to cease this year because of COVID. So we don't have our general events, and we don't have our general fundraising events that we would have normally done throughout the year, and especially coming up to Christmas. So again, I would just like to ask if people could support us in any way, either by donating financially or donating through food, through food donations as well. That would be really beneficial to us here, and we'll be really grateful for your support. Thanks very much.